Your relationship with money matters. I'm Michelle Perkins, and this is the Money and You podcast, where I will be breaking down your relationship with money, offering tough love money tips, and a money dating plan that will focus on lifting the barriers to success to help pave the way for better money practices and increased wealth. It's time to take control to live a limit-free life. It starts today. Hello. Welcome back to the Money and You show. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host, by the way, founder of limitfreelife.com. You can find more on me at limitfreelife.com and on the services that I provide in the area of career transition services, business coaching, and mostly financial coaching. And much of what I do, as you know, if you've ever listened to the show, is help people with their relationship with money, as well as the practical aspects of money, and the way melding those two will take you pretty quickly to your financial goals. So it's the new year. I am calling February 1st the new year because January was a bit of a lost month with everything going on, and work kind of took a back seat to all that was happening everywhere. And so February 1st, New Year's, that's what I've decided for this year. And because in honor of New Year's, I would really like to talk a little about a fresh start with your money. And, you know, every New Year's is good for planning and for kind of rethinking, resetting. And so with your money, it's really important to have some intentions, to step back, visualize a little bit, think about what you want, what are your real goals for this year, and alongside those goals, what kind of money do you need for those goals to be realized? And, you know, what other aspects of your finances are part of your goal setting? Maybe finances have their own set of goals, but also it's all intermingled with anything you want to do. You want to change careers, you want to start a business, you want to, invest in something big. All of this has a financial component. So let's make sure we spend a little time at the beginning of the year really focused on our year from a financial perspective. And what I want to remind you, because I think we need constant reminders of this, while there are a million things that you might want to be doing this year that are financial in nature, maybe you want to start investing, maybe you want to pay off that debt, maybe you want to save for, anything that you want to save for, maybe, there's the millions of things that you might want to do that are financial in nature. But before we do anything, I want to ask you to stop and get into your head and think first, because the doing has a tendency to jump right over that need for mind mastery, really, emotional and mental mastery over how you think about money and what you believe about money. And that is that little piece that will make or break any of these financial plans. So there really, in my opinion, is no point in sitting down and setting a bunch of financial goals if your mind is going to get in your way and stop you from achieving them anyway. So let's master your mindset around money and your relationship around money first. I mean, you won't master it immediately, but let's at least decide on some ways that you need to improve, expand your thinking around what's possible for you, change some limiting beliefs. What is it that has popped up in the past, probably many, many times, year after year, that has kept you from reaching these financial goals in the first place? Or before this time. We all have it. Doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. Everybody's got mental blocks around money. They might come from your upbringing, things you heard. They might come from things you've experienced that you don't want to experience again. We make mistakes with money because nobody teaches us how to do anything with money. And so what do? We try things, we make mistakes, we learn from them, we try something new. But a lot of times because of those mistakes, we're afraid of things. So maybe we made a bad investment and now we're afraid to invest at all. that needs to be examined. You need to look at that and ask yourself, is that smart? Does that even make any sense? I really am crazy about the book by Wallace Wattles. It's ancient. I brought it up many times, The Science of Getting Rich. And I have this practice of reading and rereading this book actually with a group who does the same thing. And we comment on it and we read things and we pull out passages that we really like and we discuss them. And it's become a really interesting, deep process. I didn't even like the book when I first read it, to be honest. But now there's so many gems in there. And one of the passages in there that I really like is to know the truth regardless of appearances. So what we see when we look at our bank account or our statements from our investment companies or whatever, even our W-2s, whatever we're looking at, those things, and not just that, what we're hearing in the news and just what we're seeing around all of us, seeing on social media. Is that truth, or are those just appearances that we're making into a truth? And so, for example, if your truth is that you'll be okay, you will be creative and solve problems as they come up, that's a truth that you've probably experienced in the past. You probably had problems. We don't get very far in life without having a few of them. We might have gotten creative and solved those problems. And money issues are just other kinds of problems. And you may have solved money problems in the past. But whether you have or not, there's a reality and a truth that you know inside that as things come up, probably you will be okay, and probably you will figure it out, and probably you will move through it, and you'll learn and you'll do better. To me, that's the truth of the situation in most cases. Appearances might stop you in your tracks. And so when you look, for example, at your bank statements, you might think there's no way I can ever pay off my debt because the appearance of my bank account is just looks like it's impossible to ever find extra money to pay off my debt. That's an appearance. Is that the truth? Probably not. There's probably a way that something could be changed and adjusted, and you would be able to fulfill on that goal if that is one of your goals. So it's very interesting to try to see beyond what we see in front of us, if that makes any sense. And when you start doing that, when you start seeing that more is possible than what your mind might be telling you, because our minds limit us with respect to money. There's a lot of fear around money. There's a lot of shame around money. And there's a lot of sort of a sense of, I haven't done it in the past. I haven't been rich before, so I doubt I'll be rich in the future. I mean, it's this kind of negative, limited thinking that we're sort of trained to have, because society is more accepting of that line of thinking than, I don't have much right now, but I'm going to get rich and I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to have a lot in the future. That way of thinking is uncomfortable, for one thing. And it's uncomfortable in part because we haven't been told that. We've been told the opposite so much. We've been told that it's hard, that very few of us get rich. All these stories and all of this negative kind of mental chatter that we understand, we relate to it, we feel comfortable with it. This is the kind of thing that holds us back, and to master our minds, to take our minds beyond that and be able to actually see a different reality. And even if we don't fully believe it, to be able to vision it and to be able to work toward it and to focus on what we want versus what we don't want, which is all that stuff that we're comfortable with. These are the mind hacks or tricks, if you will, that move people beyond their situations. And we've all heard the stories of the people who saw themselves as much bigger than they are and moved toward that vision instead of staying stuck in the reality of where they are. So I don't like that word reality because I don't think I think realities are all very, very different. And I think we can actually see that in today's world. People have very, very different realities for what's going on right now, politically and in other ways. So I don't think we can trust what we see as reality necessarily. Now, there's facts. Whatever your bank balance is, that is a fact. That number is accurate in this moment. But what meaning do we attach to it? Do we attach the meaning of it's just going to stay there because that's what it's been for 6 months and we can't get past it? Or are we going to attach a different meaning? Like this isn't great. This is not really where I want to be in the future. But I can move this. This number is movable. I just have to make some new decisions. And when we master our mindset and our relationship with money, again, the relationship part is more the how do I relate to my money? How do I feel about it? What are my emotions around it? How do I spend time with it? How do I look at it? Am I looking at it positively or negatively? Am I trying to work with it and get to know it and do better with it? That's really your relationship with money. Being in control of money versus money controlling you. And I think we've all had the experience of feeling like, wow, I don't know what's going on. I don't feel like I'm in control of my money at all. It comes, it goes, it's in, it's out. It's always landing in the same place. No matter what I do, I'm back to the same place all the time. I don't know your specific feelings around money. What I do know is that it's incredibly important at the beginning of the year to assess your own beliefs and feelings and emotions around money and to be super honest about how much time am I actually spending with my money? Am I making the most of this relationship? Am I spending time with it? Am I learning? Am I studying up on how to do better with these different areas of money that I want to improve on? Am I taking action? Am I looking at it? Am I tracking? Am I making sure that whatever I said I'm committed to doing, I'm actually taking those actions and doing it and reaching some goals? And if I'm not reaching the goals, then I'm doing it wrong. I just need to change it. It's like anything else we do. If we're playing tennis and we keep hitting the ball a certain way that we don't like, we don't just keep doing that forever. But for some reason, we do that with money. We get a little help. We learn to change our tennis swing and we make it better. We can do that with money. Somehow we feel more disempowered with money. Like whatever's happening is happening and there's nothing we can do about it. So if that's your general sense around money, then your relationship with money isn't very good. And you can take control of that. You can make it better. You just have to learn how. And if you don't have any idea how, call someone like me and I will give you some complimentary advice on where you're at and how you could get better with this relationship. Because it's one of the most crucial relationships. If all your goals are tied to money, or a lot of your goals, and really when we get down to it, at some level, everything is tied to money. Sadly, it's the world we live in. So it's not a matter of whether you think that's good or bad. There is a reality to that. And we, expanding how much money we have and how we think about money in a more positive way will enhance the other things that we want out of our life. It's a tool. It's a way to get to those other things. So clearly it's a good thing. So for us to make that relationship a negative, something we avoid, something we, find distasteful, whatever it is, that's not serving us. And so money should serve us. Money should be something we control and something that serves us in our lives to bring us to the goals and the places that we want to get to. And that could be absolutely anything from something that it just brings joy to you to something that brings joy or service to others. This is all, part of your creation when you create your life, and money is that means to help you get there. So I think it's crucially important before you take any practical steps with money, before you set your money goals, to sit down and figure out where you're at in your relationship with money and really assess it honestly and from a lot of different angles and see where you're at and see where improvements need to be made. Okay, so if you're starting the year with a new plan for your physical fitness, for example, you're doing that. You're stopping and thinking, well, what is it that I really need right now for my body? Do I need to lose weight? Do I need to gain weight? Do I need to have more strength? Do I need to have better cardio? What is it? Well, you can do that with your money. It's the same thing. It's an assessment. Where am I? Where do I want to be? And what's the gap? And how do I close that gap? How much time do I have to put in? Where do I need to go? What do I need to do? We don't tend to do that with our money as much, and then make a concrete plan and stick to it. And as we know with fitness, the only way to make any change is to stick to that plan. And with money, we can't wait around until there's an emergency. We can't wait around until sometime, that there's an extra day where we have nothing to do and we sit down and work on our money. So it's the same thing. So that is my number one beginning of the year planning tip. Before you do anything else with money, get your mindset into a better place. And then throughout the year, figure out ways to reinforce that better mindset, because it's going to leave as quickly as it comes in, and you get it exactly where you want it to be for a minute. Tomorrow it's going to circle back and try to go back to its comfort zone and be the same mindset that you've had for the last 10, 20, 30 years. So it's going to take constant resetting. So have some tools. Maybe it's just whatever you write down on the day that you're doing this planning about what kind of a new mindset and a new relationship you need with your money. Go back and reread that, or write yourself some affirmations, or journal a bit on how to keep shifting your mindset to a place that's more positive and expanded and looking to what you want versus what you don't. So that's my number one tip. Master your emotions and your mindset around money. Beyond that, I think it's great to set 5 practical tips, 5 things that you want to look at the beginning of this year that will help you throughout the whole year to get control over your money and manage it well. And so I'll just give you a few examples of the ones that I'm looking at right now. And I can't remember all of them, but I know that my very first one was insurance. I realized I have so many insurances. I have, and now with the way everything's been, insurance is kind of on wobbly legs. And so I'm going to inventory all of my insurances. I don't even know how I accumulated so many of them, but I have a lot of them. And for some things now, like my homeowner's insurance, it's 2 insurances instead of 1. And and health insurance just expanded to multiple ones. So I'm going to inventory all of them. I'm going to do a spreadsheet, because here's the thing. I can't remember when the different ones are due, how I pay them. Some are automatically debited. Some I'm still writing a check. Some, they're coming out of different accounts in different ways at different dates. And guess what? I'm losing track. And when you lose track, if you miss a payment with insurance these days, they will happily cancel you. And so I am just throwing that out there as a number one thing. I don't want to lose any of the insurance that I have and not be able to get it back. And so I want to be really careful. And once I have the inventory, then I can consolidate it. I can make sure that I'm paying everything the way I want. Maybe I can have the dates, change so that they make more sense. So anyway, that's the first thing that I'm going to do this year on my financial planning, on my money dates. And I'm going to review my budgets. I am moving my financial info over to a new app that will hopefully help me track what I'm spending and make my budgets really easy to manage. I'm getting ready for tax time. There's a lot of documents and things to pull together for taxes, and a lot of questions that I'm assembling for my tax accountant. And I have my appointments set, and I'm realizing that there are payments to make. So that's another really good one for this time of the year. I'm also setting some new income goals for this year, planning my year, which also includes planning vacations and creative time, that is for joy and not just work, but also work. And I'm looking ahead at what I need to buy this year, or at least what I'd like to buy. I have a very old car. I love my car, so I haven't wanted to give it up. But I think it could be time. So might need a new car. Might need to help my son get a new car. I'm going to look at solar panels on my house. I don't know if I'll do it, but I'm going to start looking at some things that I might want to do this year that will be larger expenses, and kind of, get a little plan for that. If I really want to do it, guess what? We need a plan. So that's how I'm starting the year. Again, the most important thing is that mindset piece. Once you've got that, an understanding of what your mindset needs to be and how to perpetuate that better mindset, that's number one. And then make yourself a list of a few things that you want to prioritize from a financial standpoint this year so that you have a project to focus on. It's really good with money, with anything, especially in times that feel so chaotic, really. It feels like every single thing right now is being disrupted, from the climate to, honestly, I can't think of anything that doesn't feel like it's being disrupted right now. So we are in changing times, and I think that's just something we're going to have to get used to. I don't think we go from, this is a changing time, let's settle back into a not changing time. I'm not sure that's an expectation anybody should have anymore. So I think change it's kind of an onslaught of ongoing change. And so anytime you can focus on some projects that you actually have control over, like your money, believe it or not, you do have more control over your money than you think. And that's where focus can go. And that's a great area for you to focus on going into 2025. There's a lot we have no control over, but there are some things we do. And when we put our mind into that, for one thing, it helps calm you down. I mean, it's really great to put your focus on something and feel a sense of control and a sense of accomplishment. It's very productive to do that. So, okay, that's my show for starting out 2025 on a great footing with your money and in a great relationship with your money. So thanks so much for listening. If you like the show, please share it, give us a rating and a review, and we will see you next week.